Are you afraid to talk about racism? Are you a little ashamed to talk about racism? Maybe as a white person, you look at history and the United States of America and you're like, I'm white, but I don't want to be a part of that. I did not consent to all of this white supremacy culture stuff. Like, I don't want to have anything to do with that. So you're a little bit ashamed to talk about racism because you feel some kind of way about your connection to the history of it all. Well, if you feel that way, if you feel ashamed, if you feel afraid, if you feel uncomfortable, and if you're afraid of saying the wrong thing, right, and then having people judge you based on the wrong thing that you said, this is for you. I want you to watch this video all the way to the end, okay? So I'm going to share something that I haven't talked about publicly before, but I think it's important for you to know so that you can understand that you're not the problem. It's the lack of education and it's the lack of training that's really the problem for you, okay? But that can be fixed, so it's all good. All right, so many of you know last year I was on the Dr. Phil show talking about reparations for African Americans, and as a guest on the show, I did not know really what I was walking into, right? The producer told me what the topic was, obviously. They told me I'm going to be on a panel, there's going to be other people on the panel discussing this topic. And that's pretty much all the information that I got, right? I didn't know who was going to be there. I didn't know what their stance was going to be. I didn't really know what I was walking into, okay? So I had to be as prepared as I could be for what I didn't know I was walking into. All I knew was that we were going to be talking about reparations for African Americans. And here's the thing about this. If you've been on TV before, I don't know if any of y'all have ever been on TV. I've been on TV numerous times. And there's one thing about being on TV that can be really, really scary and like nerve-wracking. And that is that you don't get to control the editing on whatever TV show that you're a guest on, right? So some of y'all know that my family and I were also on HGTV a couple of years ago on a show called House Hunters. And when you shoot for TV, you shoot and then it goes to post and they edit and you have no clue and no control over how they're editing the show. You get to see the final result when it comes on TV, just like everybody else. And the same was for the Dr. Phil show. So I was in a spot where I'm like, okay, I don't know what questions I'm going to be asked. I don't know what types of rebuttal I'm going to get from the other guests on the panel. All I know is what I know, and I'm going to say what I know, right? I stay ready so I don't have to get ready. And thank God, because of all the videos that I post on here educating all of you about talking about racism and having these conversations more effectively, I was as prepared as I could have been for what I didn't know I was walking into. And so when I was faced with challenging responses from the other guests on the show, I was able to be on that stage and be filmed for TV with confidence, knowing that I could stand by what I said, I could stand on business, and I could speak confidently because I knew what I was talking about and I was prepared for whatever was going to come my way. And all I'm telling you is that when you hear me talking about helping you and teaching you to have conversations about politics and race and racism more effectively, with more confidence, with more grace, with more grit, with more compassion, I'm trying to get you ready and get you prepared and get you equipped for conversations that are inevitable. They are going to happen around you, whether you want them to or not. Hopefully you won't have to talk about it on TV, right? In a live TV taping where the editing is going to be happening and you don't control what they cut out from what you said and what they keep and how it's portrayed. You don't control any of that. Hopefully you won't ever be in that type of situation, but the situations that you will be in at your workplace, at your church, at school, when you're with your family, on social media, you need to be prepared to have these conversations and not be causing unintentional harm, not be making things worse, not becoming an active part of the problem or even a passive part of the problem, right? You want to be intentional about your words, how you communicate, what you're saying, and you don't know what you don't know, so you have to get educated on it and you have to get the training to do it effectively, and that's where I come in, all right? So I'm here to help you. Join my 5-day challenge, Politics Edition, or join me next week for my live online masterclass where I'm teaching you how to have these conversations more effectively so that you will not cause unintentional harm, and you don't have to be ashamed, and you don't have to feel embarrassed, and you don't have to be afraid to have these difficult and uncomfortable conversations anymore. Go to that link on my profile right now and sign up, and I'll see you in class, or I'll see you in my 5-day challenge. Anti-racism is not a diet, y'all. It's a lifestyle.